What we're seeing here is a light-hearted couple's introduction. The man introduces himself as Nafani, though most people call him Knight. He's 6 feet tall, originally born in London but raised in Brighton, and now back in London for work. Professionally, he's in business development for a software company, which shows he's career-focused and working in a modern, competitive field. The woman then shares details about her outfit and jewelry. She explains that her dress is something she picked up while traveling in Europe with her friends, showing her adventurous side and love for exploring. The jewelry she wears has different stories, some from small shops in York and Oxford Street, others from an online boutique, and one meaningful piece gifted by her partner's family for her birthday. This layering of everyday shopping with sentimental gifts gives insight into her personality. She values both style and personal meaning. Together, their presentation isn't about luxury brands or showing off wealth, but about mixing individuality, memories, and shared experiences. The jewelry especially becomes a symbol, not just of fashion, but of connection, travel, and family bonds. Overall, the couple comes across as modern, grounded, and warm. They balance career and lifestyle with personal touches, and their playful start makes them relatable.
This story is fascinating because it completely breaks away from the fantasy of love at first sight. Instead, it's about logic, observation, and slow-burn attraction turning into something real. The woman openly admits meeting Alex wasn't romantic at all. In fact, she initially thought he was just another handsome foreigner in Asia, which to her usually meant red flag. She even planned to meet him as part of a social experiment, not because she believed it could lead to love, but this cautious approach actually gave her the freedom to observe him without pressure or infatuation clouding her judgment. And what did she find? Not a playboy, but a grounded, family-oriented man who had just come out of a long relationship. No games, no red flags, no hidden drama. Over time, she realized he embodied the exact qualities she wanted in a lifelong partner. The fact that she investigated him thoroughly, meeting his ex's family, co-workers, and basically running an FBI-level background check, only made her eventual choice feel more certain. What's especially interesting is the way she frames their relationship, not as we fell deeply in love, but as we were suitable and love followed. This is almost the opposite of the Western romantic ideal, but in many cultures, it's actually more practical and long-lasting. Instead of chasing the thrill of passion, they build a foundation of compatibility, values, and trust. The love came later, slowly but steadily. And it worked. 3 years later, they're engaged, and their bond is only stronger. Her story also reflects a modern shift. Many young people, especially women, are tired of heartbreak from impulsive choices. They're more willing to take a rational, calculated approach to relationships, almost like dating with a business plan. That doesn't make it less real. It just means love is being redefined. In the end, her conclusion is striking. Some people might call it calculation, but to her, observing first and then committing was far smarter than diving into passion and ending in disaster. It shows that for some couples, marriage first, love later, isn't a compromise, it's a formula for stability.
This topic touches on a very interesting question. Do Chinese female students studying abroad prefer Chinese men or foreign men? The common stereotype is that girls who go overseas often want to date foreigners. But reality, as the text shows, is much more complex. The example of the classmate who married an American highlights cultural differences very clearly. Splitting bills before marriage, in-laws not helping raise children, and even cooking separately. These are normal in many Western families, but for someone raised in a traditional Chinese household, they can feel distant and cold. Many Chinese women eventually find it hard to adapt to such lifestyles. That's why, although plenty of female students try dating foreigners, many relationships end because of different values and habits. Growing up in China means being deeply shaped by family-oriented traditions, respect for elders, and the idea that a man should be both responsible and caring. This is where Chinese men are often seen as more reliable, hardworking, respectful toward women, willing to take care of the family, and, interestingly, quite good at cooking. The text even mentions that in Chongqing, men are famous for being attentive and skilled in the kitchen, a quality many women admire. But the commentary also raises a modern problem. With so many excellent young people, how do they actually meet each other? Traditional introductions and blind dates feel outdated, while casual encounters are becoming rare. That's why dating apps like Qianshou are emerging, offering a mix of verified photos and school information to help people connect more authentically. In the end, the real question is not just Chinese or foreign partner, but rather, what qualities matter most in a relationship? Respect, responsibility, family values, and mutual care are universal needs. Whether someone chooses a Chinese partner or a foreign one depends less on nationality and more on whether their values and lifestyles truly match.
This is a sensitive but important topic. The image of Chinese women abroad and the stereotypes that have formed around them. The term easy dog is cruel, but the sad truth is that it didn't come out of nowhere. Some foreigners openly mock Chinese women as being easy, pointing to cases where young women, especially students, chase after white men as a kind of status symbol. From viral 100 kisses street challenges to foreigners boasting online about how easy it is to date Chinese girls, these incidents fuel a negative image that affects the dignity of all. Now, of course, this does not mean that Chinese women as a whole deserve this label. But the problem is, when enough people behave in a way that confirms the stereotype, it becomes a weapon used against everyone. That's how cultural prejudice grows. What's behind it? The real issue is not China's lack of power. Our economy, technology, and global influence are stronger than ever. The problem is a lack of cultural confidence. Too many people still subconsciously see Westerners, especially white men, as superior. You can find endless posts online of women bragging about being kissed by a foreigner, or even learning English just to date one. On the surface it seems harmless, but deep down it shows an internalized inferiority complex. That being with a foreigner is somehow more valuable. This mindset isn't natural. It's been shaped by years of cultural influence. For decades, public voices in certain groups have pushed the idea that top women marry Westerners, lower women settle for Chinese men. This narrative glorifies the West while insulting our own men. But reality paints a very different picture. Today, 65% of cross-border marriages involving Chinese are Chinese men marrying foreign women. A huge jump from just 10 years ago. And more women from Japan, Korea, and even Europe are choosing Chinese husbands. Why? Because Chinese men are often hardworking, ambitious, respectful, and deeply family-oriented, qualities many women around the world value. Compared to some Western men who indulge in promiscuity or carry chauvinistic attitudes, Chinese men can be far more dependable. So when a small number of Chinese women blindly idolize Western men, it's not because they've seen the world. It's actually because they haven't. They're trapped in outdated ideas planted by long-term cultural colonization. As Qian Shuesan said, to destroy a nation, break the backbone of its men, and strip its women of their sense of dignity. If China wants to truly stand tall, the answer isn't just economic growth. It's cultural self-confidence. And that means rejecting blind worship of the West and valuing our own people for who they are.
This story highlights something very real, the weight of stereotypes in cross-cultural relationships. When a Chinese woman dates an Indian man, people around her don't just see two individuals in love, they immediately project national prejudices onto the relationship. She admits openly that many of her friends laugh at her, question her choice, or don't believe in the future of this relationship because of negative images about India they've seen online or in the news. But what stands out is her perspective. Instead of denying that negative things exist, she acknowledges them, yet insists that these cannot define every individual. To her, judging a person by their nationality is simply unfair. Her boyfriend is patient, respectful, and supportive, qualities that directly contrast the stereotypes others try to pin on him. Her words about respect are especially powerful. She points out that many men she met before like to comment on women's looks or judge them casually, while her Indian partner never does. He doesn't gossip, doesn't criticize, and treats women with genuine dignity. This respect for her is far more meaningful than nationality or appearance. The relationship also shows the challenges of cultural expectations. She knows her father doesn't support the idea of her marrying far away. That adds another layer of pressure, not only from public prejudice, but also from family tradition. Yet despite all this, she says clearly, I hope we can stay strong, no matter what difficulties we face. In the end, her story pushes us to think how much of our view of love is shaped by real experience and how much is shaped by stereotypes we inherit from society. She reminds us that love should be about the person in front of you, not about headlines, not about rumors, and certainly not about their passport. It's a lesson in courage, choosing to trust one real person, even when the crowd says otherwise.